Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
All right, what's going on, good people? Coach Marcus Pro Fan Talk, the aftermath, the game recap. Brutal. But when you look at things logically, and you look at what happened, we had opportunities to win, and we didn't come up with the play when we needed to come up with the play. That's the long and short of it. That's the bottom line. The point, period, end of paragraph. That's it. Yeah, Blunt, I feel you, man. I appreciate you being here. We will be okay, but it just sucks because I don't like missed opportunities. I didn't like it when it happened against Atlanta, and I didn't like it today. In spite of everything that happened, Jalen Hurts going out early, Kenny Pickett coming in, throwing the pick, you still have expectations from your players. I don't care if Kenny Pickett. I know what the talk is going to be. It's like, Jalen's not in there, so Kenny Pickett in a valiant effort, and I get it. But I do have expectations, and in my opinion, with the exception of the one pick, he just got. But for the most part, he played as well as any backup could expect to play, especially a backup that wasn't expecting to play. So I'm okay with that. But even with Kenny Pickett or Jalen Hurts or whoever it is, you have got to take advantage of those opportunities when you get them. Period. You got to take advantage of those opportunities. Kenny Pickett was 14 for 24, 143 yards. 1 INT. Longest pass was 45 yards. So he did okay. He wasn't the reason why we lost. He put us in good situations. We dropped 3 balls that pretty much could have iced this game for us. Kept the chains moving. We could have ran out the clock again. And for whatever reason, Saquon Barkley drops the pass. A.J. Brown drops the pass. And then, of course, the last one, if we get the first down, we win. The game's over. They're out of timeouts. It's less than 2 minutes left in the game. We get the first down. We run out the clock. Game over. And we couldn't do it. Yeah, I'm with you, Nina. Disappointing, but on to the next one. But I got to look at things, and Nina, if you're new here, I appreciate you. If you're not new here, don't be a stranger. Make sure you subscribe and become part of my team. As a player, as a former player, you look at when they go in tomorrow or Tuesday, whenever they decide to watch film of this game, and you look at the problems that we had and the opportunities that we missed, it's going to be infuriating. Now, Jalen Hurts goes out early, right? Nothing you can do about that. As soon as the play happened, I knew he was not right. If you were lucky enough to be on my live watch during the game, I said as much when the play happened. As soon as he went down, I knew he wasn't right. Speaking from a running back's perspective, the ball is always in my hands. I've been tackled like that. I've been tackled, and this is exactly what happens. If you look at the replay, I appreciate you, Nina. I need more women on my stream because I got 2 sisters, And if I don't have that, they're gonna smack me upside the head. I gotta represent. So Nina, bring your friends. I appreciate you. As a former running back who has been in those situations, I'm gonna explain exactly what happens. Because look at the replay. When you get wrapped up and you get tackled, sometimes your momentum takes you forward. It's like diving off a diving board. And normally what you want to do is have your head up, but sometimes they get your feet and it's almost like they dump you. So they lift you off the ground a little bit, or your momentum propels you forward a little bit and your feet stop because they wrap your feet up. So you have a tendency to go, damn, I'm trying to whistle, but I can't whistle. There you go. You got a tendency to do one of these numbers, and your head hits the turf first. And then the weight of the tackler comes behind it. So your head gets pressed in the ground. Now, mind you, all of this is happening in the split second. So you got all of that force. Normally, when you get a tackle, you got two people and you kind of bounce off each other. But one person will have a good amount of force and wrapping up and can take you one way or the other. So this is when you get concussions, when you bounce off of each other. Normally tackles happen like that. They bounce off each other, right? But Jalen gets driven into the ground, and your head absorbs all of that force. And this was the key to this was the telltale sign. When he gets up, watch the replay. When he gets up, his head was down and his eyes were up. And what he was trying to do was he was trying to raise his head so he could look at the ref eye to eye. But and this is just my interpretation of it. This is when it's almost like you watching a movie, but there's a delay. So you hear the sound and then the picture comes a couple of seconds later. So he raised his eyes, but his head wouldn't raise up yet. Now, a couple seconds later, you see him get it together, but that's the brain reboot trying to process because you just had, trauma to the brain. So it's the brain's trying to recalculate. Now, again, this is not medical. This is just my interpretation from the times that it happened to me. I've had a concussion before. I remember getting a concussion in high school, and I played the whole first half and didn't remember it. I had scored a touchdown and everything and didn't even know it until the next day when we came back and watched film of the game. I was operating all on instinct. And this was in high school. Not to mention all of the stuff that happened to me when I was in college, when I was with the Eagles, when I was in NFL Europe, when I was in Canada. All of that stuff adds up. But I'm saying all that to say I could tell as soon as it happened, I was like, he in trouble. And he tried to give him the thumbs up, but by that time, props to that ref. Props to that ref who was in his face right here. And when he saw Jalen's eyes, he knew. He made him get off the field. He knew. So I would be curious to find out. Like, I would love to know the test. What questions do they ask? What's going on? I remember getting a concussion when I was in college, and at least at that point, I was smart enough to take myself out of the game. We were playing Northeast Louisiana, and I scored a touchdown, and I left my feet. I scored, but I tried to jump over the pile, and somebody caught me, and I helicoptered down, and I was woozy for the rest of the game. And I remember telling my coach, I can't remember anything. I couldn't remember the plays. I was legitimately, I just took my helmet off and took a knee. And this was a tight game. And I remember coach looking at me, and every time he would look at me, I was like, I ain't got nothing for you. And even when I thought I was getting it back together, and maybe I could have went back in the game, I was like, I don't want to, something came over me. It's like, don't do it. Something didn't feel right. So, because I was like, I can't even remember the plays right now. And that's the only time I ever remember where I took myself out, because I was like, something ain't right here. Now, back then, they would look at you like, man, we needed you when you didn't get back in the game. But now, silver lining. You know what I mean? So luckily, at almost, you know, 50, 55 years old, I'm, still got a couple of marbles rolling around upstairs. So I'm in good shape. But I went through that whole story to just let people know that Jalen Hurts was struggling on that one. He was struggling on that one. Now, I've seen him before get a hard tackle like that, and he got away with it because I was like, he don't look right. But he got back in the huddle, got it together, and it was all good. So, but if not for nothing, Jalen, slide, brother. Slide. If you slide, that doesn't happen. Point period in the paragraph. Matter of fact, a concussion like that, the way it happened, a guardian cap wouldn't even help with that. Would they drive your head into the dirt? Because the ground ain't moving. It might be soft, but when it's 22 degrees outside, nah. So even one of those guardian caps probably wouldn't have helped. So we got Jalen concussed and he's out. And in comes Kenny Pickett. And the first time he's in there, he does okay. And he gets us down the field. And I believe we scored on it. Let me see. Sideline, all drive. Let's do scoring drive. First quarter, turnover. Kenny Pickett, right? So we got an 11-yard pass, a 22-yard run, incomplete, 13-yard run, 10-yard pass, 1-yard run, 6 touchdown, 6-yard pass, and you get a touchdown to A.J. Brown, right? So, okay. All right, Kenny Pickett, you're looking good. You're comfortable. We don't want you to do too much. Just manage the game. And then that next offensive series, we get 5 plays and punt. And then and defense was stellar in the first half. And then that third offensive series, we get 2 plays and then the pick. We get a 3-yard run on Barkley. And then Kenny Pickett tries to throw a quick slant and they just jumped the route. And they were waiting for it. And I was like, okay, Kellen Moore, you got to open this up. Now, already I'm like, they are tightening up and loading the box on Saquon Barkley. You know they're going to do that. That's expected. You know they're going to do that. So why don't you get Barkley outside? Why don't you pitch him outside? And I can't wait to watch this tape because our blocking by the tight ends was hot garbage. Calcaterra, I don't know what he was doing, but the edge rusher was crossing his face and getting to Saquon before he could damn near get the handoff. And it happened 2 or 3 times to Calcaterra, and it's like, bro, you got to get that block. You got to get a piece of him. You can't be slow. You can't. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if that's why I got to watch the tape. But even on the broadcast, Calcaterra was getting beat across his face. You can never get beat across your face, especially if you were tight end. And they were using him, and it was hurting us. It was really hurting us. And I don't know what the reason is why Kellen Moore will not go on an outside pitch with Saquon. I don't understand why we don't want to do that. Because if the ends are pressing down and they are beating your block, they're beating the tight end or whoever's blocking them across their face, and they're getting in the backfield before Saquon can damn near get the ball. So what you do is you pitch him outside. You got to make him chase. Again, I will take Saquon racing somebody to the corner. I will take him getting to the corner. Maybe they fall. Maybe you get a block. Maybe they make somebody's miss. But at least he's got some space. And for whatever reason, we was going inside. Then we was going off tackle. And they was blitzing the gaps. And our tight end was not getting the block. So we were getting killed. And we would not try to get outside to save our lives. I do not understand that. Every time I watch other teams play and I see them pitch their running backs that are not as good as Saquon Barkley, not even close, but they pitch them outside and let them run off tackle and stretch the defense out and let them pick and choose where they want to go. Everybody else does it but us. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't know what Kellen Moore has got against pitching outside. Saquon is a phenomenal runner. He can get outside and probably make somebody miss. He's shown he can do that. It's called a play. I don't know. I don't understand that. Call the damn play. Blunt, I know Calcaterra is not a good blocker. However, when you are in the National Football League, sometimes it requires you to do some things that you ain't really great at doing. So you got to pull up the pants and figure out a way to get it done. If you're the only tight end that's playing right now, you have got to get that block, period. That's the way that it goes in the NFL. If you can't get it done, you will be promoted to fan. I like Grant Calcaterra, but you got to be able to block, bro, at some point in time. You got to be better than that blocking because it's costing us. It's costing us. You got to understand that the guy in the backfield is the best in the league. So I need a supreme effort on your part. Whatever it is you got to do. If you got to take a extreme lateral step, if you got to line up tighter, whatever it is you got to do, but you figure out a way to get that block. Then you got to pass it down to the coaches. Coach, there's a guy up in the booth that's watching the games either via the video, the monitor, watching the broadcast, the NFL cameras, or he's got binoculars. So somebody up in the booth can see what's going on with Calcaterra. And if you see what he's doing and you don't have an answer for that, that's on you as coaches. Because if he's not getting it done, your job is to find somebody in there that can get it done. Or you find a play that he can run successfully. I'm going to start with Calcaterra, then I'm going to move on up to the coaches. Because if the coaches see that he's not getting the block and they leave him in there, or they keep doing the same stuff and he keeps not getting the block, that's your fault. That's why you get paid that money, to make that decision. Put somebody else in that can at least make that block. There's a lot of people in there. You got one job, and I need you to do that one job as best of your abilities. And Calcaterra costed us with his blocking, not non-blocking self. So that blame goes to Calcaterra, then it passes it off to the coaches. What do coaches, and I'll use running backs as an example. What happens to running backs when they fumble the ball? They don't give them the ball no more. That's one thing you learn day one as a rookie when you go to NFL camp. The fastest way to get out of here is if you put the ball on the ground. If you are an offensive lineman, the fastest way to get out of here is to get your quarterback or your running back killed because you can't block. It's not complicated. Not complicated at all. I just messed up your week, Chris. It's all good, man. I'm just venting. Because I know they're going to watch film. And the film is not going to be very pretty. And even at the end, when the defense, they just ran out of gas, man. Defense just ran out of gas. I'm not going to blame the defense when you got 5 turnovers today. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the offense that I believe it was 3 or 4 of those turnovers. We ended up with 3 points or 6 points. We couldn't get the ball in the end zone after the first quarter. We were struggling. We was on the struggle bus. So we got it in there. We got good field position, and the defense kept coming up big, kept coming up big. At some point, the offense has got to do something. But again, this is what's so disappointing and so frustrating, because at the end of the game, our playmakers had the ball in their hands, and they couldn't make the play. Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, all 3 of them dropped passes critical towards the end of the game. And you can't have that. You cannot have that. Big time players make big time plays in big time games. Period. That's why you pay them all that money. That's why we pay AJ that money. That's why we pay Devontae that money. That's why we pay Saquon that money. We pay you so you can come up big in critical times. We should have won that game. But woulda, shoulda, coulda don't do nothing but rhyme. We should have won that game. Kenny Pickett put you in an opportunity, gave you a chance to win that game. Kenny Pickett did that. He hit Devontae in the hands. I like what Devontae said. He ain't going to beat himself up. I get it, and I appreciate that because you're going to have to come out the next week and do the same thing. However, missed opportunity. A missed opportunity. And I'm with you. I would throw, if that play happened 100 more times, I would throw him the ball 100 more times. Because the next 100 times, he ain't going to drop that ball. But this time he did, and it sucks. It sucks, because what else can you say? AJ had an opportunity. He dropped the ball. Great play by, who was that? Was that Lassiter? No, it wasn't Lassiter. I think he was out the game by that time. But he caught the ball on his back, and the dude smacked it. He couldn't complete the catch because he smacked it out of his hands. The kid didn't give up on the play. And that was a huge play because another opportunity to move the sticks. And we end up punting and giving them another opportunity. Thoughts on CJ's? I'm gonna get on to CJ Gardner-Johnson. I'm on. Yeah, we can hit that now if you want to. Let me say this. What do they tell you in Little League? It's always the second guy that gets caught. Now, CJ Gardner-Johnson and was it Terry McLaurin? I don't think it was Terry. Who was it? He was arguing with somebody, and literally they were right in front of the referee. And whatever CJ Gardner-Johnson said, the guy from the Commanders threw a punch at him in front of the ref, and the ref threw the flag at CJ Gardner-Johnson. What I want to know is what he said, because it had to be so far out of bounds for the ref to see the opposing guy throw a punch, and he threw the flag on CJ Gardner-Johnson. Had to be way out of bounds. The ref let a guy punch you and threw a flag on you. So I want to know what he said. Now, if he said something that was out of bounds or just beyond disrespectful, so be it. But I want to hear what he said. Frustrating more than anything, bro. Frustrating. I don't like to miss opportunities when we're supposed to win games. Yeah, it had to be crazy, Chris. It had to be something beyond disrespectful. Because jawing is part of the game. Chirping is part of the game. And if you're going to do it to one, you got to do it to the others too. So, and that's why I say the ref was standing right there. So whatever CJ Gardner-Johnson said, it had to be crazy. It better be crazy. Because now, are we throwing flags if you don't like what somebody said? Is that where we are? Or now you trying to be the thought police? I don't like that. Talking is part of the game, whether it's disrespectful or not. The refs are not supposed to they're not supposed to do that. And that's why I say it better have been something just straight up off the wall, next level disrespect. And if it's anything less than that, I got a problem with it. Because I know what happens and what's said on the bottom of those piles. I've been the victim of it. I've been the victim of the racial talk and you're not going to do this and trying to spit in your face, trying to step on your fingers, trying to stick their finger in your eye, all at the bottom of the pile. So I know what gets done in some of those scrums. And refs see it. So you got to be careful with that. That's a Pandora's box, in my opinion. So now you telling me you throwing flags because you don't like the smack talk they talking on the field? I don't know about that. That's not your job. If they holding, it's a pass interference. That's your job. But now you trying to influence what they can and can't say. I don't know about that. That's why I say I want to hear what he said. And I guarantee you there was a shotgun mic somewhere on the sidelines that heard what he was saying. What's up, KSAP? But if like I said, if it was disrespectful, if it was racial, if it was violent, whatever the situation is, I want to hear what was said. Because if it's anything less than that, I got a huge problem with that. But let us not forget, just like baseball, just especially like in the NBA, CJ Gardner-Johnson is the NFL's version of Draymond. Let's be real. Let's keep it 100 for you. He is the NFL's version of Draymond. His reputation precedes him. That was him that went up in Tom Brady's face and was all of that unnecessarily. So he's always been like that. And he's got a reputation. So when you conduct yourself in that manner, everybody's always looking. And you got a quick whistle against players like that. That's just the way that it is. So CJ Gardner-Johnson's got to temper himself because I think Seth was going off on him in his post-game show, and I 100% agree. When you lose somebody like CJ Gardner-Johnson, when you a vet, like as long as he's been in the league, he knows better. But he's one of those people that constantly pushes the envelope. Jalen Carter is getting that way. Because, again, Jalen Carter had a penalty that cost us a sack. And I believe they ended up scoring on that play. So another opportunity missed. They negated a sack, and they end up getting points out of it when they shouldn't have had none. Defense should have been off the field. And you give them another shot. So, I don't know. Let me see. I heard him on his post-game show. I don't know if it's on Twitter yet because he was still. Let me see. Nah. He's talking about Jalen Hurts. That's another thing we're going to get into. I don't want to hear anybody else talk shit about Jalen Hurts. Like anybody else can just step into that type of talent, and doesn't work that way. Jalen Hurts brings something special to this team, and if not for nothing else, you understand the importance of Jalen Hurts being in the game. It was quite clear. Here we go. Let me see if I can hold on for a second. Let me see if this will go. Hold up. Nope. Can y'all hear that? I don't think you can hear it. I think I got it though. Hold on. Yeah. The biggest thing was the communication. Oh, special teams. We don't need to talk about special teams, man. We couldn't even kick the ball in the end zone today. I don't know what that was. That was a new one to me. But as far as CJ Gardner-Johnson goes, man, when you got a starter, especially at safety is the guy back there that's calling plays, kind of directing traffic back there a lot of the times. And if you don't have your starter in there, that's a problem. That's a problem. So I know CJ Gardner Johnson. I know he is very volatile, very volatile. But again, he's a veteran, man, and you got to control that. Now, here's the other thing with this, because I didn't see what he said. I didn't see what he did. So, is it a situation where he didn't really do anything the second time? The ref was just fed up with him. But that goes back into your reputation precedes you. Whether it's fair or not, it happened. So if the ref was wrong, the only thing they're going to get is a letter that says the ref was wrong. But it's not going to give us that opportunity back, and it's not going to bring the game back. So what you have to do, CJGJ, is you got to temper yourself and be a damn veteran and not let your emotions and all of that shit talking get in the way of what you're supposed to do, because that's exactly what happened. Jalen Carter, that's exactly what happened. Now, I will say this. The pass interference on Jalen Carter was some bullshit. That was a BS call. It was real ticky-tack. It was foul. But that's, again, Jalen Carter's starting to get a reputation. And it's going to end up costing them. So you got to temper yourself, and you got to, to me, that's all discipline. That's all discipline. So we just got to be better in that regard. And again, I want to see what CJ Gardner Johnson said. The first one, he must have said something because the ref was right there. Unless, and this is possible, unless the ref is just one of those quote unquote goody two shoes type person. If he don't like what you hear, or if he don't like what he heard, he gonna throw the flag on you based on his personality, upbringing, and every kind of. But at the end of the day, if he got the flag, he can throw it. The best thing you can do is not put yourself in that position. So we gotta be better than that. Our veterans have to be better than that. You can't even put yourself in that situation. You can't do it. You can't put yourself in that situation. So what's up, James Monsanto? Appreciate you, brother. We should have won the game. Yes, we should have, but we didn't. We had an opportunity and we couldn't make the play. Go to, you're telling me to go to CJ's page. Let me see. I don't even know if I follow CJ Gardner Johnson. Hold on. Yeah, I do follow him. Let me see. Quinyanamo Bay. No, I don't think there's gonna be too much. Yeah, nothing on here. I mean, he had a good game until he got kicked out. So, all right, Chauncey. I don't see nothing on his site. So yeah, I'm on CJ's page. I don't see. Maybe he took it down. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I mean, he gonna have something to say. Right here, he says, respectfully got kicked out for nothing. I play with passion and fire. Guys was chirping all day. What you expect? Now that I agree with. But damn, that's got 1 million views already. Wow. So I don't know. Big Seals, he chiming in. I don't give a damn what he do going in the locker room. Yeah, he get fined for that. He can afford it. I'm talking about what he did on the field, Seals. So Big Seals, in my opinion, you just throwing salt on the wound. You know, that ain't got this. Discipline is on the field, not walking off the field. I don't give a damn what you do off the field. That's not affecting the game. Whatever he said on the field is what affected the game. That's what I want to find out. because there have been times in the past where refs have gone too far. Is this one of those times? So I don't know. No need to explain. We will all support you and appreciate you. No. Yeah. I mean, he being targeted. But look, what did I say? His reputation. And he understands that. And because he understands that, he does push the envelope. Because there's been times where he probably could have been flagged, but he wasn't. I remember what game was that? What was the game where he took off his helmet? He made a big hit. And he took off his helmet. Then he played it off. And then the second time he made a big hit, his helmet came off and they almost flagged him. So if it didn't happen the first time, I don't think it would have been a quick situation the second time. You see what I'm saying? It's like we saw that your helmet came off, but you took it off the first time and he just got away with it. The second time, it was an accident. That was part of the play. He made a big hit and it made his helmet come off, but it looked like he took his helmet off to celebrate. So they was going to get him again. And I think the replay assist came into play because listen, that replay assist, when they took away that roughing the passer, we just talked about this. I was on an NFL call on Monday where a bunch of NFL players, we get together and Troy Vincent is leading the conversation. He is the head of the competition committee. So we talking about rules. We're talking about roughing the passer. We're talking about hip drop tackles, all of that type of stuff. They are actively talking about it and trying to figure out a way to make it better. So it's not like, I know we throw that NFL no fun league and all of that kind of stuff out there. And sometimes it seems like it's true. But let me tell you, as somebody that's taking part in these meetings, discussing the rules, what are they going to adjust and what are they going to tone down a little bit? They are trying to make the game better, period. So I'll give them credit for that. But with all of this technology, you got to have explanations, and your ruling has got to be crystal clear. And I don't want to have flags because this ref didn't like what somebody was saying. So, and the only reason he don't like it is because he got a particular personality. He grew up a certain kind of way. That's not what he grew. You got to be careful with that. You got to be very careful with that. So, CJ Gardner-Johnson, that'll be the topic of conversation. There's people going to be mad. People going to love him. But at the end of the day, it happened. We get hit with penalties that are unfair all the time. Didn't Dallas Goedert get a obvious face mask that was missed? So it happens on both sides. Sometimes you get the bear. Sometimes the bear gets you. So now that, Chris, I would love to see that. But the NFL is never going to let that happen because the NFL can never be in a situation where they are questioning, where you can have open season on the officials. They will never let that happen because eventually an official is going to make a mistake and they're going to eat them alive. So not going to happen. Not going to happen. Sills, listen, I said this earlier about something different, but I think they were talking. I was making a comment about Eskin walking away from WIP or something like that, and somebody chimed in talking about they hated Eskin, all that type of stuff, and I was like, I could take him or leave, and I thought he was meh, but you don't be on the radio as long as he is and just not have talent. I don't buy that. Whether you like them or not, somebody was listening. So my point is that you're going to have people that love you, hate you, but they stay to watch. And Jalen Carter and CJ Gardner-Johnson, everybody's watching them right now to their detriment. So they got to be careful. I don't want to see Jalen Carter get to that Derek Barnett level of idiocy where it just seemed like Derek Barnett has some situations where he just made dumbass decisions. And then when he gets to the point where he's playing well and stuff just happens, because it does just happen. You're not trying to jump off sides, or you're not trying to get a penalty. And sometimes you in the bad place, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it just happens. But because he had already had that scarlet letter on him, everybody remembers when Nick Sirianni is looking and he's like, it's always something with that guy. It's always that guy. And that's not where you want to be, especially when you have talent like Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's got to be a vet. Jalen Carter right now is looking like Ndamukong Suh. Y'all remember how Ndamukong Suh was when he started his first couple years in the league? That joker was unstoppable, but he was a borderline dirty player, stomping on people's heads, stepping on legs and ankles and all of that shit. He was borderline dirty player, and eventually he got better and cleaned it up because everybody's always watching. So they just can't do that, because it's going to end up costing us in situations right now, and we can't afford it. We can't afford it. So I hope to hear what CJ Gardner-Johnson said, because I know he's a good player, but you don't want to put yourself in a position where that possibility even exists. Let me say it like that. Sue was a crash out. Sue was good. I mean, Ndamukong Suh was good for us last year. You know, it was good until it wasn't, but the bottom fell out, but that wasn't his fault. So, you know, we got some work to do in that area. Now, the biggest thing is we have to get healthy. Yeah, Super Bowl year. Thank you. That was a Super Bowl year with Ndamukong Suh. You're absolutely right. Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph. Yep. It's not the best team at the end of the year. It's the healthiest team. Even with all of the troubles that Detroit is going through, they lit up Chicago today. But it's Chicago. Chicago's not often offering any type of competition or challenge on offense. Chicago's horrible on offense. So that's not much of a test for Detroit. So you got to stay healthy. And today's game was expensive. Jalen Hurts, but he'll be back when the playoffs actually start. So if he plays or not, he got 2 weeks to heal up. So that we got that. Josh Sweat nicked up his ankle. So we got that. Kenny Pickett, his ribs got bruised. So we got that. I don't know what's going on with our damn kicker, but they better figure that out real quick. Special teams, I don't want special teams to be an issue for us anymore. We should have had that problem solved. Our kicking today was horrible. Mekhi Becton went out limping. That's the other one. So not even close to a clean game. When I say clean game, I mean you get through the game with no major injuries. So you got some nagging stuff going on. And there's definitely going to be some stuff that we hear about later in the week. Who's getting rest, who's getting treatment, all that type of stuff. So it is what it is. But you got to have everybody ready towards the end of the year, because that's when it matters. And it looks like we're going to be playing 4 games or 3 games to get to the Super Bowl. So we better be ready. So everybody that was talking about maybe we need to lose a game because it's almost impossible to run the table like that, well, now you got your loss. Hope you're happy. So, yeah, I know the kickoff wasn't Jake. Did I say Jake? I know it's not Jake Elliott. It was, what's his name? Man. So, whatever. whatever his name is, he wasn't doing a good job kicking the ball. Now I know it gets cold and the ball doesn't travel as far in the cold, but you still got to do better than that. So I'll tell you what, and they better whoever that fullback is that we just signed, put him in at tight end. Put that joker in at tight end. Missy Elliott. I just got what you were saying with the Missy Elliott reference. Wow. Jake was good with us today. So he missed that one kick again, kicking in the cold against the wind. He left it about 3 feet short. He had the accuracy. He couldn't get enough leg into it. But Kenny Pickett was all right. AJ Brown, 8 for 97. He'd have been over 100 yards if he catches that ball. I believe Devontae Smith would have had a touchdown if he catches that ball. Or at least he would have had like 70, 80 yards because that was going to be at least a 20-yard game. Reed Blankenship, CJ Gardner-Johnson, both had picks. So, yeah, we had opportunities to win it, man, and we just didn't get it done. We didn't get it done. And to me, that's the most frustrating thing. And I even go back to when we had all of that hoopla with A.J. Brown. To me, that's the same situation. It was the same exact situation because the only thing A.J. Brown was talking about was the missed opportunities that Jalen had because Jalen played a crap game against Carolina. And he missed open men. So he missed opportunities. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So now we got question marks. We got to figure out what's going to happen next. We got to figure out Kenny Pickett playing. Is Jalen Hurts going to be out for another week? We have to answer all of those questions. And we got to figure out who's going to, fill out this roster for the last 2 games because I think if we are in a situation where there's no more movement we can be made, that can be made for us to move up or move down. I think you're going to put the brakes on and just coast and see what you get. So I don't know, man. It was very frustrating loss today. I don't look at today's game as a heartbreaking loss. I look at it as a frustrating loss because we should have won and we didn't. That's twice that's happened. And it happened the same way. We ice the game if we catch the ball, period. We didn't catch the ball. And because we didn't catch the ball, Jaden Daniels got one more chance to win it for his team. And that's exactly what he did. He took advantage of the last opportunity he had. He didn't have a particularly great game, but he took advantage of it. And he made it matter when it mattered the most. That simple. So I don't know about concussion protocol because some people it's a week. I got to get to the rules about that. Let me see. Let's see what they said. Good thing we got the interwebs here. Return to participation protocol. The concussion game day checklist. When a player receives impact to the player, goes into the concussion protocol. If the player exhibits or reports symptoms or signs suggestive of a concussion or stinger. I didn't know it was a stinger too. Stinger, I've gotten plenty of stingers. Pinch nerve. The athletic trainer, spotter, team physician, NFL game official, coach, teammate, sideline, unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant, or both, or Booth UNC initiates the protocol. Then the player must immediately be removed to the sideline or stabilized on the field. All right, concussion game day checklist. Let me see. Took him to the medical tent. Okay, we did that. All players will undergo any concussion evaluation on game day or having a follow-up evaluation conducting the following day by a member of the medical staff. Okay, so Jalen's going to get a follow-up tomorrow, obviously. Return to participation protocol. Every NFL player diagnosed with concussion must follow a 5-step process before being cleared to fully practice or participate. The process, developed from the internationally accepted guidelines, ensures each player receives consistent treatment. Team medical staff, blah, 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 blah. After the player has progressed through 5-step process. Okay. What are the 5s? Let me see. Okay, here we go. Return to participation protocol. Can y'all see this? Let me see if I can zoom this up a little bit for y'all. All right, this is as big as I can get it. All right. The player is prescribed rest, limiting, if necessary, avoiding activities, physical and cognitive, which increase or aggravate symptoms. Under athletic training staff supervision, limited stretching and balance training can be introduced. Progression to light aerobic exercise, all as tolerated. Phase 2, aerobic exercise. Under direct oversight of the team's medical staff, the player should begin graduating cardiovascular exercise and may also engage in dynamic stretching and balance training. Neurocognitive and balance testing can be administered after completion of phase 2, and the results should be interpreted as back to baseline. Phase 3, the player continues with supervised cardiovascular that are increased and may mimic sports-specific activities. And supervised strength training is introduced. The player is allowed to practice with the team in sport-specific exercise for 30 minutes or less with ongoing and careful monitoring. Phase 4 is club-based non-contact drills, and phase 5 is full football activity. Club-based non-contact training drills. The player continues cardio, strength and balance training, team-based sports-specific exercise, and participates in non-contact football activities, throwing, catching, running, and other position-specific activities. So basically, he can go through walkthrough, warm up and walkthrough. Neurocognitive and balance testing should be completed no later than the end of phase 4, with the results interpreted as back to baseline. And then 5 is upon clearance by the club physician for full football activity involving contact, the player must be examined by the independent neurological consultant assigned by his club. If the INC concurs with the club physician that the player's concussion has resolved, he may participate in the club's next practice or game. All right. There you have it. Now, I don't know how all of that's going to be implemented and how long it takes. Interesting that they had no time period on that. Yeah, just jump out. So it's all about recovery, and I guess somebody has to be observed, and it has to be agreed upon that he's okay, and to reset his baseline. So, you would think it takes longer than a week, but I don't know. So yeah, we'll see what's going to happen, man. We need him. We need Jalen Hurts because it was quite evident that he was severely missed on that sideline for sure. Yeah, but everybody's different though. So we'll see. I thought that he was going to be able to come back in the game, but that's what I get for thinking. So, but in the macro, it could have been worse. It wasn't a knee or anything like that, so we know he's coming back. Kenny Pickett didn't look half bad, but he threw that one pick, and that, you take the points off the board, might be a different ending. So in the big scheme of things, my takeaway from this game is, number one, do not discount the importance of Jalen Hurts. Number two, we have got to get better blocking from our tight ends. Our tight end play has got to be better. Even when Dallas Goedert comes back, is he going to be able to block? That's a legit question. Is he going to be able to block? Because this today was god awful. That was horrible. Our veterans got to be more disciplined. That's number three. Jalen Carter, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, got to be a little bit better up here. Don't put your team in jeopardy. And of course, it's easier said than done. He doesn't think he said anything or did anything wrong. Heck, that's why I want to see the tape. I want to see the tape. I want to hear what was said. Because it would be very easy to say you shouldn't have said that. Take your medicine. But not when it's costing us games. You're supposed to be on the field. You're supposed to be on the field. So, yeah. That stings a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be all good. So at the end of the day, it's whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. So we gotta get that great question, dude. Who was mic'd up? Who was mic'd up in this game? That matters to me. Because I really want to hear what was said. I just did in that meeting I was telling you about, the NFL meeting. I reached out and I was like, they made mention of the fact, talking about behind the scenes technology in the NFL. And I reached out to some people and said, hey, I'm interested in that. The behind the scenes tech, what's going on in the booth, things of that stuff interests me. Being at the big graphics board, when you throwing up graphics and all that kind of stuff, I like that type of stuff, especially if you're talking about the technology that comes behind officiating. That's really interesting to me. So, yeah, Cordy Green, we were, yes, we were, but they've been missing. So that's not anything new today. Goddard's been out, Van Sumer has been out, and I couldn't tell you the last time I saw Jack Stoll in the game. All I know is Calcaterra was in the game, and he couldn't get a block to save his life. That's all I care about. I can't worry about who wasn't in the game. They had no bearing in the game. If they wasn't in the game where they had practice, they were not going to give any type of contribution to the effort that we saw today. But so I can't worry about them. Yeah, they're not going to let that out. I doubt it. I'd be very surprised if we hear what was said. I know the league office, the fine office is going to hear it, because he's definitely getting the fine. So, that's right. We don't have Stoll no more. My bad, Blunt. But I don't know if they're going to let that audio out. I don't know. Frustrating loss, man. Frustrating loss. I've always said this. I don't mind getting beat if you are a better team. But I don't like giving games away. As a player and as a coach, that's what frustrates the hell out of me, when you give games away. And that's what we did tonight. That's what we did. We gave the game away. So it is what it is, man. We have to regroup tomorrow. We'll have a better understanding of what the injuries are. I'll be very curious as to hear, because I'm sure C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to be in the news this week. I know Nick Sirianni is going to speak on it, what the refs told him. Possibly. He might tell us, he might not. I don't know. But even if CJ Gardner-Johnson is right and he didn't say anything, like, don't put yourself in that situation, man. So I'll be interested. I got to go back and look at that to see. Maybe I can see something on the all 22. I don't know. We'll find out, though. We'll find out. So, but at the end of the day, we in the playoffs, man. We locked in, so we just got to get it together. This is a small setback. My biggest takeaway is we got to get Jalen Hurts healthy and get him back on the field because that makes a difference. That makes a difference in our whole game plan. Jalen Hurts is important. Yeah, going to be that 30 for 30. Safety's the bad man of football. That's funny. So yeah, man, that's where we are. That's where we are. Tough loss tonight. Tough loss, but let's hope the injuries are not as bad as we think. All right. The dual threat backup question. What do you mean? I don't understand that question. What's a dual threat backup? Having both quarterbacks, both backups running or playing? I don't. Yeah, I don't understand that, Blunt. Oh, instead of these pocket QBs, we should get a guy who can run the offense. Well, technically, we had that last year with Marcus Mariota, and that was a disaster. Marcus Mariota just wasn't a very good quarterback. Tyrod Taylor as our backup, I could see that happening. I wouldn't be mad at that. Or bring the rocket scientist in here, Dobbs. Bring him in here. I don't know. Maybe Kenny Pickett will be a lot better with a week's worth of snaps at practice. So he did look okay today with the exception of that one pick. He looked all right. He was game managing, threw a couple of long balls too. So we'll see what we got. We'll see what we got. But I'm going to get up on out here, man. Tough pill to swallow, but it is what it is. Congrats to Washington. They made the plays when they had to make them, period. And they got the dub. So we'll see what's going to happen, man. So stay tuned tomorrow. I'm going to have a lot more stuff tomorrow. And I got to get some stuff together so I can give away this hat, man. I told you I was going to give away a hat when I reached 5,000 subscribers. I've reached that. I'm almost at 5,200 already. So we got to figure out a way to give away this hat. So life before death. Merry Christmas to you, bro. That was a tough one tonight, man. We needed a Kamehameha wave or something. Bro, maybe we need to put Android 11 on tight end so somebody that could block, bro. So all right, man. 63 more. I'll see y'all later. Blunt, Brian. Appreciate you, brother. Chris. I will probably be Chaotic Green. This is my first time seeing your name, I think, in my chat. I'm not sure if I've seen you before, but don't be a stranger, man. Make sure you subscribe and come back. And yeah, I appreciate everybody, man. Tough loss tonight, but we will be back next week and we're gonna get it done. So let's just keep it moving and let's see if we can get everybody healthy, get Jalen Hurts back, and we'll be okay. All right. Y'all have a good week. Finish your Christmas shopping if you can. Be safe out there because it's getting cold and these streets is getting a little slick. And we'll be all right. I'll see you all in the next one. Go Birds.